Carlisle United experienced playoff delight in the 22-23 season. However, their transition to League One football hasn't been a smooth one, with the Cumbrians sat 22nd in the League One table at the time of recording, in serious danger of dropping back down to League Two. However, it's not all doom and gloom, as they were recently taken over by US-based consortium, the Castle Sports Group, and they've not been afraid to get the checkbook out, as they've already brought in Luke Armstrong from Harrogate and Harry Lewis from Bradford. So now we are taking charge of Carlisle United and winning them a UCL trophy in FC24. Remember, if you want to see a team rebuilt in FC24, the best place to let me know is down in the comment section down below. Let's get into this Carlisle United rebuild. So this is the Carlisle team we've voted into, lads, and it definitely needs some work. We've got a centre midfielder playing left wing, a centre back playing right back, and a striker playing right wing. We're going to have to change some things around. So we've opted against the 4-3-3, and we're going to go over 4-1-2-1-2, as we don't have any wingers at the club, and the actual best players at the club are currently midfielders. Now, I've already gone through the trouble of adding Harry Lewis, Harrison Neal, and Luke Armstrong to the club myself, as these lads have already been paid for in real life. And as you know, lads, we're stuck with these players till January the 1st, because the first summer transfer window is always disabled in these rebuilds. But when we do get to January, lads, and we can finally sign some players, we definitely need to bring in a new centre-back, because Mellish and Lavelle are just not good enough for League One. And when we get to January, lads, the Castle Sports Group have given us £2 million transfer budget, which is not too bad at all for League One. Now, given the fact the best players at the club are midfielders, I'm going to go over tiki-taka tactical vision for this rebuild. But one issue I have run into, lads, is we've got so many players out of contract at the end of the season, and some of these players are key first team players for us as well, meaning we're going to have to renew all these deals and see if we have any money when we get to January. So we've worked our way through the contracts, and the following players are available for transfer this season. Paul Huntington's available for transfer, as is Thomas Hawley, Joe Garner, Aaron Fitzpatrick, Josh O'Brien, and Gabriel Breeze. They can all leave the club now or when the contract expires in the summer. And lads, we have got the dreaded finish the season with 640 grand unspent allocated funds. I absolutely hate this objective, meaning we can probably spend £1 million in January. That actually has to cover the wages and the transfer fee. So when we get to January, lads, we'll probably be able to bring in one centre back. So we've sorted out the starting 11 and formation, the finances, and the tactical vision. There's nothing left to do but simulate forward to January the 1st, and I'm hoping to see Carlisle outside of the relegation zone at the very least. So we've arrived at January the 1st, and we currently sit 9th in the League One table on 37 points, and we're only 7 points off a playoff spot. So do you know what, lads? I'm really impressed with the start we've made to the season. However, there is one major issue. Our only real objective this season is to finish the season with 640 grand unspent allocated funds. If we sign a player and we have to pay a fee, his wages, a signing on fee, we're going to end up going over. Do you know what? For the sake of the rebuild, I'm just not going to bring anyone in this January, because we're already having a good season. All we're expected to do is stay up, and then hopefully the CS group can actually let us spend some money in the summer. So we've reached deadline day, lads, and there's two notable outgoings to let you know about. Thomas Hawley, who I don't actually think is that popular with Carlisle fans in real life, has joined Port Vale for 270 grand, and Taylor Charters has joined IK Sirius for 280 grand as well. We're now simulating forward to the end of the season, and hopefully we're still in mid-table. So we're at the end of the season, lads, and we had a very successful season, securing ourselves a top half finish in 11th place on 60 points. So we've definitely set the foundations now, and we can just build on this in season 2. Now, looking at the team, lads, we have actually had some really healthy growth in some of our players, like Owen Moxon, who's reached 71 rated, Jordan Gibson, who's reached 68 rated, and I really like Jordan Gibson. However, in real life, he did actually score a hat-trick against my team, Bolton, so points down for that. And Harry Lewis in goal actually had a brilliant season, going to 69 rated, a bit of an unsung hero for us. So all in all, lads, the squad is actually looking pretty good, but going into season 2, I definitely want to bring in a new centre-back to replace Lavelle and a new striker to replace Maguire. And in terms of stats, lads, it was actually Jordan Gibson who was our best player this season, getting 22 goals and 6 assists. Luke Armstrong had a good season, getting 21 goals and 8 assists, and Sean Maguire also chipped in with 18 and 12. But after that, lads, not many goal contributions from the rest of the squad, which is something we do need to improve next season. We've arrived in season 2, and we've got a very healthy budget of £6 million to improve our squad. So as we know, lads, we're in the market for a striker, and the first player I've identified is Ika Bravo of Bayer Leverkusen, 19-year-old striker who can play left wing and right wing as well. I haven't actually got him fully scouted, lads, as he is listed for loan, but looking at his stats right now, I think he would probably come in and be our best striker. And we have brought Ika Bravo into the football club, lads. He's 70 rated and 19-year-old, and he joins us on a 2-year loan deal, but we have included an optional future fee of £5 million if his loan is successful. And lads, we've promoted an absolute gem from our youth academy in Gabriel Field, an 18-year-old 69 rated right back, and he will go straight into our starting 11, boys. So our search for a centre back has brought us to Ronnie Edwards, one of the best centre backs outside of the Premier League, and he's currently earning his trade in League One at Peterborough United. He's 70 rated, 21-year-old, extremely well rounded for a centre back, and he's going to cost us a massive £2.7 and £3 million, so it's going to be an expensive deal, but he massively improves our team. And for £2.7 million, we have brought Ronnie Edwards to Carlisle United. Now, I really feel like adding 2 new strikers to the club could really boost us towards promotion promotion this season. That's why I've targeted Don Ballard from Southampton, a 19-year-old 65 rated striker who's got very good potential in this year's game, and he's going to cost us between 1.5 and 1.4 million pounds, so we can definitely make the deal happen. And for 1.3 million pounds, we have brought in Don Ballard from Southampton. Now, after the permanent signings of Edwards and Ballard, we're left with 3 million pounds, and I'm thinking, looking at the squad, I definitely want to bring in another centre back to replace Mellish. Now, a hunt for a centre back has brought us to Diogo Monteiro of Leeds United, a 19-year-old 63 rated centre back who has got immense potential on this year's game, and it's also going to cost us between 1.1 and 990 grand, so we should definitely get him through the door. And for 950k, we have brought Diogo Monteiro to Carlisle United, leaving us with a £2 million transfer budget when we get to January. So in this window, we've brought in 2 young high potential strikers and 2 young high potential centre backs, whilst also promoting a very promising right back from our academy. I think this team is more than set for season 2, and hopefully they can push for playoffs. So we've reached the end of the transfer window, lads, and there has been some outgoings. Callum Guy has joined Swansea City for £730,000. Ori Whelan has joined FC Hermannstadt for 440 grand, and Sam Lavelle has left the club for FC Lugano for 570 grand. And that brings the transfer window to a close, lads. We're now simulating forward to January the 1st, and I'm just hoping to see Carlisle at least around the playoffs. So we've arrived at January the 1st, and we're having an amazing season, sat in 3rd place, 4 points off 2nd place Derby. Firmly cemented in the playoff place as we're 10 points clear of Plymouth Argyle in 7th, so it's looking like it's going to be playoffs at a very minimum this season, but I'm really hoping in the second half of the season we can push on and try and get into that top 2. Now, with only £1 million available, we probably won't be bringing anyone in this window. So we've reached the end of the window, there's been no incomings and no outgoings. Now we're going to be simulating forward to the end of the season, and maybe, just maybe, we'll sneak into the automatics. So we've arrived at the end of the season, lads, and we finished 4th in the League 1 table, getting 85 points, 5 points off Derby, Peterborough and Birmingham, all finished on 90 points. We will take on Charlton Athletic over 2 legs, and then potentially Derby or Plymouth at Wembley for a place in the Championship. Now let's find out if we were promoted to the Championship. And it's the moment of truth, boys. Were we promoted to the Championship? Yes, we were, boys. We beat Derby 3-2 at Wembley Stadium to clinch promotion to the Championship. So this is the Carlisle United team that has got us promoted to the Championship, and I have to say there's been some very impressive growth from players like Bravo, Edwards, Field and Ballard, all growing massively this season. Going into next season though, lads, we do need to start adding some quality to the side, and I'm thinking bringing in a very good centre midfielder to replace McCalmont, and I'm also thinking about bringing in a goalkeeper to replace Lewis. In terms of stats, our top scorer was once again Jordan Gibson, getting 20 goals and 19 assists, but he played 65 games this season. That is a very impressive return. Don Ballard got 20 goals and 5 assists, and Ika Bravo got 19 goals and 8 assists. So let's get into season 3 and get stuck into the Championship. So we've arrived in season 3, lads, and our first order of business has been to bring Ika Bravo to Carlisle United on a permanent deal. It was originally on a 2-year loan with a £4.95 million agreed future fee. We've activated that fee, and he is now our player, and his valuation is £10.5 million. Is an exciting prospect. This is an excellent way to kick off life in the Championship. Now, this means we do only have £3 million going into the window, but we do have some players listed for transfer, so we should be able to boost the funds back up. Now, we have managed to sell some players and raise some funds, and I'll run you through the outgoings right now. The first being Alfie McCalmont, who's joined Norwich City for £1.8 million. Sean Maguire has joined KV Kjortvik for £630,000. Josh Emmanuel has returned to Hull City for £1 million, and Ben Barkley has joined FC Hermannstadt for 370 grand. Now, this does leave us with £6 million, and given the sale of McCalmont, lads, we definitely need to bring in a centre midfielder to replace Cheque, and we have identified Lewis Miley of Newcastle United. The guy is absolutely killing it in real life. In game, he's 19-year-old, 71 rated, and he has got very well-rounded stats. He can play all across the centre of midfield. I think it would be a no-brainer to bring him to Carlisle United. And for £3.8 million, we have brought Lewis Miley to Carlisle United. Now, we're only left with £1 million, so I think that's our transfer window finished, meaning this will be the starting 11 to take us into season 3 in our first year in the Championship. And I have to say, lads, I really think it's a good-looking team on paper. There's only one player in the team who's over 24-year-old, and that is Harry Lewis in goal. So I wouldn't be surprised come the end of the season if a lot of this team are over 75 rated. We're now simulating forward to January the 1st, and I'm hoping to see Carlisle around mid-table, because I think we've actually got a really good squad for the Championship. So we've arrived at January the 1st, and we've had a really good start to our life in the Championship. We're currently sat 11th on 37 points, and we're only actually 5 points off 6th place Huddersfield, so who knows, we could even sneak into the playoffs this season. Now, we do actually have £3 million, but I don't actually think we can bring anyone in with that money who actually changes the dynamics of our starting 11, so I'm willing to just save this £3 million for next summer, meaning Carlisle United are closed for business in this January window. No one's coming in and no one's going out. So we have arrived at the end of season 3, and we have finished 10th in the Championship on 66 points, just 12 points off 6th place Watford. So we didn't manage to reach the playoffs, but we did manage to secure a top half finish, which I'm very impressed with. We got to the 5th round of the FA Cup, where we were knocked out by Tottenham Hotspur. That's a really good cup run for a Championship side. Carabao Cup, not so good. We were knocked out in the first round by Sunderland. So looking at the starting 11, the first player to reach 80 rated is Ika Bravo, so it looks like the decision to pay £5 million £50 for him at the start of the window was a very, very good one. Going into next season, I definitely think we need to bring in a new goalkeeper and also a new left back, as Lewis and Armour just aren't going at the same rate as the rest of the team. In terms of stats, our top goal scorer this season was Don Ballard, getting 24 goals and getting 5 assists on the way. Jordan Gibson had another brilliant season for us. He's just been playing so well in this rebuild. Got 21 goals and 12 assists, probably our best player overall. Now let's push on to season 4 and try to get promotion to the Premier League. We've arrived in season 4 and we've only got £9 million to improve the squad. And despite having a really good starting 11, we haven't really got much depth and we've not got many assets who we can actually sell. Now because of this, lads, we're actually going to transfer a list of players that we're looking to replace. So Harry Lewis is 73 rated and 28-year-old. He's only got 12 months left on his deal. Going off his development progress, he isn't going to grow another overall point for at least 2 seasons, so we're going to try and sell him. Jack Armour's in the same boat. He will be growing this season to at least 73 rated, but at 25-year-old, going to 73 rated is not going to be the best option for getting us to the Premier League, so he's also for sale. And Harrison Neal also only has 12 months left on his contract. He is not going to grow another overall point for at least 2 seasons, so he is also for sale, lads, and we're going to try to replace all 3 of these players. So we've managed to sell some players and raise some funds, lads, and I'm going to run you through them right now. The first outgoing was Jack Armour, who joined FC20 for £2 million. We sold Harry Lewis to Southampton for £2.29 million. Harrison Neal left for Celtic for £4 million, and John Mellis joined Basel, I think that is, for 940 grand. Meaning we do have £15 million to improve our squad. So lads, I have kind of messed up a little bit, as with £15 million, I'm not going to be able to bring in a goalkeeper, left back and set a defensive midfielder who are actually first team quality. So I'm going to have to dip into the loan market for one of them positions. I know, I jumped the gun. I got too excited. So we've identified Luis Henrique of Boa Vista FC, a 21-year-old Brazilian goalkeeper. Looks like he's got okay stats, 3 stats over 70. We're going to bring him in on a loan deal for 2 seasons and see what we can do with him. So while we wait to hear back from Luis Henrique, we might as well get the CDM position sorted, and I've identified Adam Wharton of Blackburn Rovers, 76 rated, 22-year-old CDM with extremely well-rounded stats, and it's going to cost us between 11.8 and 10.6 million, and I think this would be a very solid pickup and a good replacement for Neil. And we have managed to convince Adam Wharton to join Carlisle United for £11 million. Now that leaves us with just £3 million to bring in a left back, so we might have to dip into the free agents list, lads. And good news, lads, Luis Henrique has decided to join us on loan, but we've only managed to get him for a 1 season only, and we couldn't agree a future fee, so he's literally just here on loan. And you know what, he's actually quite good. He's 71 rated and 21-year-old, meaning he's only 2 overalls worse than Harry Lewis. So if this loan deal goes well, who knows, we could make him a permanent signing next summer. We've managed to bring in a left back from the free agents list, lads. We have brought in Anton Frank, a 20-year-old 71 rated left back. He's not the worst signing. He's only 1 overall point less than Jack Armour, but I was hoping to get someone better in. However, we've saved a bit of money and brought in a decent young left back in the process, and that will round off our transfer business for the summer. I think we've brought in a very strong set of defensive midfielder in Adam Wharton and 2 very good young players in the goalkeeper and left back position who could, for all we know, grow by 5 or 6 overall points this season. So all in all, not actually a bad summer. I think looking at that team on paper, we should have more than enough to at least finish in the playoffs, with hopefully Ronnie Edwards, Lewis Miley and Don Ballard all reaching 80 rated this season by any luck. So that's our transfer window officially done, lads. The only other business we might do is loaning out some youth players, which I'm not going to fuss you with. We're now simulating forward to January the 1st, and I hope that we're in the playoffs at least. So we're out at January the 1st, lads, and I have to say, really impressed with the start to the season we've made. We're sat 4th in the league on 49 points. However, we are 9 points behind Leicester City and Sheffield United, who are running away with the championship this season. And so it does look like we are rooted into the playoffs. We're probably not going to break into the top 2. Now, we've only got £2 million, lads, so I'm not looking to sell any of our players. I'm going to focus off camera in this January transfer window, just getting some youth players out on loan. There's none who are really ready to even challenge to even get on the bench at the minute. They need to go and get minutes elsewhere. So I'm thinking I'm just going to simulate straight through to the end of the season, and hopefully we're in the playoffs still. So we've arrived at the end of the season, lads, and we finished 3rd in the championship on 85 points. And Leicester City and Sheffield United just absolutely ran away with the league season. 115 and 109 points respectively. That is an absolute joke. We finished 3rd. We take on Sunderland over 2 legs. Have we reached the Premier League for the first time in Carlisle United's history? Oh, we've not. We've not. We've been knocked out by Sunderland 3-1 over 2 legs, we're out. And we are going to be playing Championship football again next season. We've got to go all out for the league title next season. We have to. We got to the 5th round of the FA Cup, getting beat 4-2 by Arsenal. And we were once again knocked out of the Carabao Cup in the 1st round. We just can't get past the 1st round in this competition. So looking at the starting 11, lads, and it's clear to see that is a Premier League side on paper. We've got some amazing players, and some players have really developed this season, like Ballard, Bravo, Miley, Wharton and Edwards. They've all grown so much. Going into next season, lads, we're not going to have a goalkeeper at the club as Luis Henrique's loan is expiring, so we are in the market for a goalkeeper, and any further incomings will be dependent on our transfer budget. Our best player this season was Don Ballard, getting 35 goals and 5 assists in 50 games. That's a great return from him. Ika Bravo had another brilliant season, getting 18 and 8. Jordan Gibson, once again, who never lets us down, 9 goals and 11 assists. After that, lads, it does fall off quite a bit, and it's clear to see we do need to add more goals for the rest of the squad next season. But let's get stuck into season 5, lads, and let's finally get promoted to the Premier League. So we've arrived in season 5, and we've got £15 million to improve the squad, and all that budget is going to go on a new goalkeeper. Now, in all honesty, lads, we have been looking for goalkeepers, but I've had a thought to myself. Luis Henrique was really good for us last season. He's 77 rated, 22 years old, and he actually fits in our price range of 12.7 to 11.4 million pounds. I think it's an absolute no-brainer. Let's bring him back to Carlisle, and he has cost us 11.5 million pounds, and I think he's worth every penny. And the signing of Enrique leaves us with 4 million pounds, lads, meaning our transfer window is most likely done. So that's our transfer window done, lads. We're now simulating forward to January the 1st, and I'm just hoping to see us in the automatic promotion places. So we've arrived at January the 1st, lads, and we currently sit second in the championship, 3 points clear of third placed Everton and 10 points behind tabletop in Leeds United. So we're rooted into the automatics, lads. We have a small gap over the playoffs, but we do need to carry on this really good run of form. We're going to gain automatic promotion, because I do not want to fall back into the playoffs and lose in the playoffs again. That was absolutely heartbreaking. Now, we do only have £4 million, lads, so we're not going to see any outgoings or incomings in this window. We're closed for business. We're simulating straight through to the end of the season, and hopefully we've got automatic promotion. So we've reached the end of the season, lads, and we have been promoted to the Premier League, securing second place, finishing on 98 points. 2 points clear of second place Everton, and we were 6 points behind champions Leeds United. Carlisle United are playing Premier League football next season. And lads, we actually managed to make a FA Cup final where we were beaten 3-2 by Brentford. That is such a good achievement. And lads, this team we are taking into the Premier League is absolutely unbelievable. We've got an 87 and 88 rated striker, 2 85 rated midfielders, 84 rated centre back in Edwards, 82 Montiero, 80 rated Henrique. We've only got 4 players in the starting 11 who are actually below 80 rated. I think we should have no issues staying up next season. We definitely need to add some more quality though, and I'm thinking about bringing in a new left back to replace Frank, and the new centre midfielder to replace Owen Moxon. And wow, the strike force this season just proved they are well too good for the championship. Don Ballard getting 38 goals in 52 games, and Ika Bravo getting 34 goals in 53 games. Really good seasons for Lewis Miley and Jordan Gibson as well. I have to say, boys, a massively impressive season. Now let's get stuck into the Premier League, and I'm aiming for a top half finish with the squad we have, lads, or maybe even getting into the Conference League. So we've arrived in season 6, and we've got £62 million to improve our squad, and we definitely need to bring in a new left back and centre midfielder. As we know, lads, we're in the market for a centre midfielder, and I have found the man for the job. Andres Santos of Hoffenheim, 83 rated, 24-year-old centre midfielder, extremely well rounded, and he's going to cost us between 50 and 45 million pounds, so this is going to use up the most of our budget, lads. And we have brought Andres Santos to Carlisle United for 45.5 million. Now, lads, a bit of an issue. After bringing in Santos, we only have 14 million pounds remaining, and let me tell you, some of the contracts we have to renew this season, literally every single first team player needs their contract renewing, like Moxon, Ballard, Bravo, Gibson, Wharton, Montiero, Edwards and Field. Honestly, lads, this is probably going to use up every single penny of our transfer budget, so I think Santos will be the only incoming in this window. And after renewing everyone's contracts, lads, we're left with just 920 grand, so it's safe to say that is our window completely finished. So we've arrived at the end of the transfer window, lads. We've only loaned out some youth players, no major outgoings of note. We're now simulating forward to January the 1st, and I'm really hoping that we're actually challenging for Europe, because our squad is excellent on paper. So we've arrived at January the 1st, boys, and I have to say we've made an excellent start to life in the Premier League. We currently sit 5th in the table, 1 point off a Champions League place. We're only 8 points off tabletop in Spurs, and we've only lost 3 games from our first 20 in the Premier League. It's safe to say we are absolutely killing it. And with this squad, lads, it's easy to see why we have got such a good team on paper, especially given the fact we've got 2 90 rated strikers. I mean, you'd expect us to at least be top 4 this season. Now, we've got absolutely nothing to spend, lads. We've got 327 grand. We're going to be making no signings, and none of our players are for sale other than youth players who can go out on loan. So we are going to be simulating forward to the end of the season, and hopefully we've snuck into the Champions League places. So we've arrived at the end of the season, lads, and we have secured a 3rd place finish in our first ever season in the Premier League, finishing on 71 points, 9 points off Premier League winning Newcastle United, meaning Carlisle United are playing Champions League football in season 7. We were knocked out once again in the 5th round of the FA Cup by Middlesbrough 3-1. I think that's like 5 times now we've got to the 5th round. We just can't seem to go that extra mile and actually win the thing. We were knocked out of the Carabao Cup in the quarter-finals by Chelsea 3-0, meaning no silverware is coming to Carlisle this season. And looking at that starting 11, lads, we have got such a good team on paper. We've had brilliant growth this season from players like Bravo, Ballard, Miley and Wharton. I really think that with the right additions in the summer, we could really push for the title next season. Now, going into season 7, we definitely need an improvement in the left-back position as Frank is just not growing, and I'd also like to bring in a right-back as well, but that is dependent on the budget. Our best player this season was once again Don Ballard, who's been an amazing player for us in this rebuild. He's got 36 goals and 10 assists. Ika Bravo chipped in as well with 27 goals and 13 assists, also going to 92 rated. Jordan Gibson and Lewis Miley had good seasons as well, but then there's not many goal contributions from the rest of the squad. We will also be saying goodbye to massive fan favourite Owen Moxon, as we could not agree terms on a new deal. He wanted to be a crucial first team player, lads, and at 78 rated, there's absolutely no chance from giving him that play time. He'll be joining Nottingham Forest when his contract expires. So let's get into season 7, lads, and see how we get on in the Champions League. So we've arrived in season 7, lads, and our first season in the Champions League, and we've got £105 million to improve our squad. Now, I'm going to use the bulk of that budget to bring in the new left back. So, lads, we have actually had a massive outgoing, and it's Diogo Monteiro, who's joined Real Sociedad for £71.4 million. The reason why I've sold Monteiro, boys, is because I want to use the money to bring in a more experienced Champions League level defender, and I've got one in mind who you'll really like, lads. However, first we do have the small matter of a new left back we want to bring in, and I've identified Alphonso Davies of Arsenal, 88 rated, 28-year-old left back with unbelievable stats, and we are going to bring him to Carlisle United, and he's going to cost us between 106 and 95 million. And for 96 million pounds, we have brought Alphonso Davies to Carlisle United, and the player we've identified to replace Monteiro is Mickey van der Ven of Monza, 86 rated, 28-year-old, and he's got high attacking work rate, which we love to see. Good dribbling, good passing as well. And I think with Mickey van der Ven's experience at the back, we've got a better chance of doing well in the Champions League. And he's going to cost us between 62 and 69 million pounds, meaning we would have made a profit from the Monteiro, the Van der Ven deal. And for 60.5 million pounds, we have brought Mickey van der Ven to Carlisle United. Now, after the signings of Davis and Van der Ven, we're left with 12 million pounds, meaning our transfer window is finished, meaning this will be the Carlisle United team to take us into our first season in the Champions League. And I have to say, lads, that team on paper is absolutely unbelievable. So that's our transfer window done, lads. There's going to be no more incomings and no more outgoings. Let's see who we've got in our Champions League group. So our first Champions League group is in, and we've got Borussia Dortmund, Club Brugge and Rakow. Do you know what? It's actually not that bad, and I genuinely think we've got a chance of getting through this group. Let's simulate forward to January 1st and see if we did get through it. So we've arrived at January 1st, lads, and we're currently sit second in the Premier League table, 1 point behind tabletop in Newcastle United. So could this be the season that we actually win the Premier League? We also breeze through our Champions League group, boys, setting up a tie with PSG in the round of 16. And looking at the teams left in the competition, I think if we can get past PSG, we've got a really good chance of getting to the final. Now, with only £13 million available to us, I cannot see any business going down in this window. No outgoings, no incomings, just simulating straight to the end of the season. We've reached the end of the season, lads, and as you can see, we have won the Premier League title, finishing on 83 points, 7 points clear of second place Chelsea, losing just 3 of our 38 games this season, and Carlisle United are the champions of England. We didn't manage to win the FA Cup, lads. We didn't even get that far, you know. I think we got knocked out in the 5th round again by Liverpool on penalties, for God's sake. Literally the 5th round every single season. We only managed to get to the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup, where once again penalties knocked us out, this time to Newcastle United. But in the competition where it really matters, we have made the final of the Champions League, and we are taking on Juventus. We beat PSG convincingly over 2 legs, 5-2, to set up a quarter-final tie with Bayern Munich, who we beat 5-4 over 2 legs. That must have been an enthralling fixture. And we beat AC Milan 5-4, winning the second leg 5-3 at the San Siro to set up a tie with Juventus in the final. So this is the Carlisle United team that has got us to a Champions League final, and it has to be said, lads, that could be the best front three we've ever had in a rebuild so far. 95 rated Ballard, 94 rated Bravo, and 91 rated Lewis Miley. That is absolutely unbelievable. On paper, that team is absolutely frightening. And in terms of stats, lads, our front three has fired us to a Champions League final, as Don Ballard scored 35, Ika Bravo scored 25, and Lewis Miley scored 20, getting 20 assists on the way as well. Then our next highest top scorer was Andre Santos with 11. And after that, lads, there's actually not many goal contributions from the rest of the squad. Now, all that's left to do, lads, is play the Champions League final against Juventus at the Bernabeu. So here we go, lads. It is Carlisle United versus Juventus for the Champions League trophy, and this one should be a cracker. Now, you may have realised, lads, that Jordan Gibson, a player who was with us since day one, will captain the side in this Champions League final. He was a 62 rated centre midfielder And now he is the captain of Carlisle in a Champions League final. Zaire Emery he's such a good player this year. And he skips past like I'm not even there. Not good. Oh, not good. Oh, not good at all. Not good at all. We find ourselves 1-0 down, lads, inside 17 minutes. We've hardly even touched the ball. Not good, lads. Defence is all over the place. We get skipped past by Zaire Emery on the wing. First shot's very poor, and then there's absolutely no one marking Alvarez, who makes it 1-0 to Juventus. Miley Ballard. Oh, that's brilliant pace. Got to score. Hit the post. Gets the rebound though. 1-0 boys. Don Ballard equalises for Carlisle. Instant response. And it is very much game on in this Champions League final. Keep playing, lads. What a tackle by San. Come on. Ballard, make a run. I'm going to have a shot.
Nope.
Oh, it's an easy save. It's straight at the keeper. Corner, and Adam Wharton will rip it in. Ballard. Oh, Gibson. No way. Oh, Jordan Gibson, 30 yards, draws a great save at a Carlisle. That would have been a fairy tale, wouldn't it? And that's going to be half time, lads. 1-1. After going 1-0 behind, I have to say we really responded well, and it's all to play for in the second half. Oh, it's a good tackle by Wharton, but it falls straight back to them. Oh, no. Oh, no. Wow. That was a huge chance for Jimenez, and he smashed it over the bar. Up to Davis. Oh, that's poor. Give the ball away. Bravo. Gibson. No way. It's Mace. No. No, Jordan Gibson. It was written in the stars for Gibson to score there, and he misses. Field. Oh, my God. Surely. No, the cross is off. I want to give it to Gibson. How have we not just wrapped up this final? Wharton. What a ball. Field.
What the hell?
How? And we're going to extra time, lads. How have we not won this final? And extra time looms on the horizon, lads. Wow. Field. Oh, it's got to be. Bravo! Finally! Finally! In the 99th minute of this Champions League final, Ika Bravo puts us 2-1 ahead. Ballard. Penalty. Penalty. Gatti. The Reds have gone. And I'm going to give it to Jordan Gibson. Brilliant. Oh, it's a terrible tackle. Ballard's done him. He's not got the best penalty stats, but I'm going to give it to Jordan Gibson. That looks perfect. It's in, lads. Jordan Gibson in the Champions League final. The man who's been at Carlisle since day one. The man who actually scored an hat-trick against my team Bolton this season. Puts us 3-1 up in the Champions League final. And here come Juventus. 110 on the clock. McKenna, he's actually done really well on the wing there. Oh, no. Oh, oh, no. Pereira pulls one back. 3-2. McKenna did really well on the wing, to be fair. We didn't really track our runners. It's actually a really good goal, that, to be fair, but from a tight angle as well. I'm just going to play keep the ball, lads. 7 minutes till we win the Champions League. We're 3-2 up against Juventus. And there's the full-time whistle, boys. We have beaten Juventus 3-2 to claim Champions League glory. And all that's left to do is watch Jordan Gibson, the man who's been with us since the very, very first season, lift the Champions League trophy for Carlisle United. And what a beautiful sight, boys. Carlisle United are the champions of Europe, and that is another rebuild successfully ticked off. I just want to say a massive thank you for watching, lads. Keep smashing that like button, keep smashing that subscribe button, because somehow, lads, we're already so close to 2,000 subscribers. This channel is growing so fast, so I massively appreciate all the support, and I will see you in the next rebuild.